Hello guys, this is just a friendly reminder and warning by the Digression session guys here at Bleeped Up Productions. We're putting this out on YouTube, so it might get YouTube copyright striked because of some of the videos or maybe the music we use in these episodes. If you want to have the opportunity to listen to all the audio uninterrupted, you can go to our Podbean link in the description of this video. But obviously, if it doesn't get copyrighted strikes, you can watch it and see all the glory that is on YouTube. But if it does get striked, some stuff might have to get cut out. But for the whole uncensored amazingness, which is the music or the videos or even the clips we put in, head down to the Podbean link in the description. And without further ado, let's get straight into this podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and welcome to episode 4 of Digression Session. Fighting games, alpha, mega, like all the adjective words you could think of like Street Fighter does. Vol.1 remix, like everyone on this cast loves
Super
fighting
Mega
games.
Turbo Edition.
Yeah, exactly. Just put Mega, Sonic, Super, like all the boosting words before this cast. So it could literally have like 40 words before we actually get to like fighting game. But yes, guys, I'm one of the co-hosts, Lee, and across the table from me is the man, the myth, the legend behind this podcast.
I'm not
Dan.
behind this podcast. Every single one we do.
I feel like it was. Okay. So it's a three-headed hydra we have of this podcast. Unfortunately, Ben can't be with us on this one, but Dan and me are gonna talk about fighting games because I believe this is a really interesting topic because I've definitely played my share of fighting games, and I definitely think you've played your
so back
fair
when
share.
people asked me, when I was playing about between 16 and 18, if people say 16 and 18, probably about 16 to about 25, when people asked me what kind of video games I played, my answer was fighting games.
Okay, so
I did delve into other games.
I'm trying to think what my first fighting game experience was. Like, what was your first game you can have a vivid memory of playing and going, oh god, that's a fighting game?
Street Fighter.
Concentrate on the screen. Street Fighter 2 is on Super Nintendo. From the arcades, the ultimate combat game. Each fighter has a different technique, an acrobatic move, a hidden punch. It's on the streets now, exclusively on Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo with Street Fighter 2. It's unbeatable.
Just straight up Street Fighter
Street Fighter
2. Yeah.
There weren't no Turbo Championship Edition at this point or anything. It was just straight.
It's on the
Street Fighter
SNES.
2. I played it on the Atari ST.
Oh my gosh, that is going back. Yeah. So that's like, so it is Street Fighter 2, or is that original Street Fighter where it's like unplayable?
No, it was Street Fighter 2. It was pretty unplayable, but it was. And then I came across that at my cousin's house, and my uncle was a big gamer. Right, weren't really a big thing back then, so he had all sorts of bootleg copies of all sorts of stuff. It was so easy. Back then, it was easier back then without internet than it seems to be now. To get bootleg copies.
100%.
So yeah, I played Street Fighter, and I always remember going into an arcade and actually seeing like a full Street Fighter machine.
Because I was going to ask, because I guess we've had our console first ever fighting game and then our arcade first ever fighting game. Because I feel growing up, it's like you play it in the arcade and you're like, this is going to be amazing. And then you get the console version of something and it's very lackluster. A game I will talk about later was very lackluster to what the arcade version is.
Even though there's only about 5-6 years difference between us,
yeah,
I think this actually shouts out the difference in generations.
Okay.
Because my first computers, were Commodores, they weren't home consoles. They were 8-bit machines that would play a game. So
okay.
we couldn't wait to go down to the working men's club because they had the Superman game in the in the little room, and you know, me and my friends on a Friday night used to go over to Leicester because they had a full arcade.
Oh, okay.
And we spent our Friday nights in the arcade, and we were probably the last of the old school.
I feel like it's similar because when I was growing up, it's kind of like we went to bowling alleys and you had the arcades, and then you had like, I don't know what it was, but you could always hear like one or two machines' audios over other machines. There was always one that stood out. Like for me, it would always be Daytona USA. Like you'd always hear the do, and you're just like, that's Daytona. Yeah, that's whatever. But fighting games, it was always weird because I feel like it's more of an American thing. Because when I went to California, when I was an adult, obviously, I feel like when I went to arcades there, you had Winner Stays On. You saw that kind of crowd and the guys, and they know the combos and stuff like that. I never saw that in England.
I did for a bit.
Did you?
Yeah, only for a short period.
Okay.
Because I was, 10, 11 when the SNES came out?
Yeah.
And that changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Because it came with
the
Street
NES
Fighter.
changed everything.
Yeah.
But the NES wasn't as commercially available as the SNES was.
No.
The NES was the breaking the ground.
Yeah, because I think my first console me and my brother got was the Sega Master System 2. And we had that for probably like, I want to say the end of its cycle, because I want to say a year or two after that, we got a Mega Drive. But it was the Genesis 2, not the first Genesis, but it was the Genesis 2. Or as we call it, the Mega Drive over here. States, you call it something completely different. And I remember when we got that, obviously you have your staple fighters on that. But I never really played that many fighting games on that. In that it became more, for me, it was more the fact of PlayStation was when I got into fighters heavily.
PlayStation changed the fighting games.
Yeah, 100%.
So they went from a bit of fun,
yes,
and to something that you could actually spend some serious time doing.
Uh-huh.
As I say, I saw a lot of it in the arcades. But then fighting games, we are talking early Street Fighter 2, and it was just fireball.
Yes.
That's what it was. And if anyone wants to argue that, then they haven't played the original Street Fighter 2.
It was either that or Sonic Boom. I'm pretty positive that was it. Back and forth projectiles.
Yeah, projectiles just crashing into the middle of the screen. That's all it actually was. So PlayStation.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat Trilogy came out on PlayStation 1. I think 3 had already come out.
But Trilogy was...
Yeah. Which was essentially Mortal Kombat 3 with a few extra characters.
Yeah, it was basically like Resident Evil Director's Cut. Like, it's the game just with a lot more stuff. Just cream that money.
But Trilogy came out on the PlayStation 1. And just the PlayStation controller in itself. This is before analog sticks as well.
Okay.
The PlayStation controller in itself was... what's the word?
I think it was ahead of its time. Like, 100% ahead of its time.
Compared to the SNES controller, as far as a fighting game goes, it just had more comfort and compatibility, and it felt right.
Yeah, I would say the six button Mega Drive one was kind of interesting as well. Learning the inputs for that, and that was different. But then it was like trying to find those controllers were hilarious back in the day. Like, you could find them, but it was like they were as expensive as a game, and you would rather just get a game than just get a controller, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the PlayStation, you also had the first ever fighting sticks and stuff like that as well that I can recall seeing.
Oh, I remember when the DualShock came out.
The new DualShock controller now comes as standard. PlayStation, still only $229.95.
It's a bit of an embarrassing story, but I knew it was coming. I used to buy PlayStation magazine. Once every month, I knew it was coming. I was excited about it.
Yeah.
They came out just before Christmas because, of course, they did.
Yeah, of course.
I persuaded my favourite uncle to buy me for Christmas, and because I didn't want him to mess it up, I took him to the shop. I chose it for him.
You buy this.
He was only a few years older than I am, but I was just like, no, you are not messing this up. This is what I want.
100%.
Christmas Day comes, I open it, and obviously I know what I'm getting.
100%.
And we go round to a different uncle's house where my dad insists that I have to go, and I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So I take my DualShock controller with me, just so I can fiddle with it. That was a toy I chose to take with me that Christmas.
100%.
Just so I could sit there and fiddle with the analog sticks and just get used to how they
so
felt.
good. Like, yeah, honestly.
The kids today don't know the joys.
No, and it's so funny. Like, I used to play games on cartridges, and they're like, what the heck are those things? I'm like, never mind. You guys have it easy.
Oh, no, but cartridges are actually better than CDs.
Yeah, I love it.
Even to this day, you could get more memory onto a cartridge than you can a CD.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the funniest thing is, like, looking back on the games I first played, which I think we'll both bring up probably our first, like, fighting game that we're talking about is obviously Mortal Kombat. I never played 1. I got 2. Two's phenomenal. Sam and me probably played more Mortal Kombat 2, but then we also cheated because we got 2 because there was like, I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was a game store like in Nuneaton, because we're in the Murky Midlands, where you could go and they were like £5 a game, and we were like, Mortal Kombat, oh that looks alright, Mortal Kombat 2, because of how it looked way cooler than 1. Yeah. So we got 2, and by God, yeah, it's better, just period. But then obviously there was MK3, but then it was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. That's the one that we got next, and that's probably one of my favorite like Mortal Kombat games. Just how many characters are on that screen. It gives you social anxiety just looking at it. It's like, who the hell do I choose? Because there's so many characters, but so good.
The same game.
Yeah, 100%.
They didn't really improve any gameplay or anything like that, and I think the characters that they added were
it's like
nonsense characters.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive one of them was the female Goro woman. What was her name? Shiva, and then the broken Minotaur guy. I'm really back. There's so many names. Matoro, yeah, yeah. Like it's insane. But yeah, Mortal Kombat. Let's kick it off there, Dan. Like, what a game.
Yeah, so that actually, you asked me about my first fighting game experience, and it was Street Fighter. But the first time I got really into really started playing a fighting game was when Trilogy came out on the PlayStation. Really, the first time a fighting game really got my attention was when we went to the arcade and everyone's crowded around a machine and you kind of gonna have a peek and you see Sub-Zero just rip someone's skull out of their body.
Yep.
Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yeah, this is for me.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly think that's when you look at all the fighting games, and there's loads out there. There's tons. Mortal Kombat will forever be known for fatalities. That's the first fun. Always, when you think of Mortal Kombat, you immediately go fatalities, or like you say, the ninjas like Sub-Zero and Scorpion and whatever. But everyone will always remember how can we kill people in the most graphic way possible. It's like finish him, you know. And it was always that.
So
always.
I loved Mortal Kombat from the get-go.
Yeah.
I had it on Game Boy.
Did you?
The Game Boy edition was
so we
awesome.
had it. I think Sam got it on. Yeah, because I also got. Yeah, because we got MK2 on Game Boy, and we also got Mortal Kombat 1, and it was bloody awful. Street Fighter is the worst one. I can tell you that for a fact. That was money wasted. But Dad bought it me, and what's the freaking London store? Hammond's. Is that it? No, not Hammond's. Yeah, Hammond's, the toy store. It's not Harrods.
No, Harrods is the posh store.
Yeah, is it?
Hammond's is also the posh store.
Yeah, but there was the kids store beginning with H. I forget what it is. There, everyone wanted their toys. This is what I did. I remember how great Street Fighter was. Why not get it on the Game Boy so I can have it mobile-y? Mistake made. I should have got a Talk Boy because they were the things back in the day from, thank goodness, Home Alone 2. But yeah, that was a mistake made. But yeah, just fighting games didn't work.
Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, from what I remember, you could do a sweep, an uppercut, and a special move. You could only do the special move if you had leprechaun fingers and you was able to press the tiny little Game Boy buttons fast enough.
100%. 100%. It was cool because we were like, oh yeah, we could play it. But then it was like, there's no fatalities. It's all green because that's how the Game Boy was back in the day. There's no colour or anything, but you didn't care because you were like, portable Mortal Kombat. But yeah, at the same time, it just doesn't beat.
No.
You know.
So Trilogy came out on PlayStation. Absolutely loved that. Me and my brother played that so much. And,
yep.
You know, it's one of my memories of him screaming at me saying, like, he's not letting me win.
Yeah.
Because I got really good at Cyrax.
Oh, good old Cyrax.
Then we moved into the 3D era.
MK4.
The crushing pound of the mallet. The shattering blow of the club. The slashing edge of the blade. They call to you.
Yeah.
Was it for Deception?
Yeah, it was Deadly Alliance, because that's when, spoilers kids, that's when Liu Kang got murdered by Quan Chi and like Shang Tsung and shit.
Liu Kang is dead.
But not really.
But not really, because later on it's like one of the coolest characters ever. Yeah, because it was Alliance, then Deception, and then there was I want to say it was another one, was it Armageddon? Like straight up Armageddon. I can't remember. There's so many. Like, yeah. But those games were sick. Like, I played more Mortal Kombat chess than anything else.
Yeah. And Mortal Kombat karting.
Yes.
What have I brought that back? Like, just
missed opportunity, mate.
It is. But yeah, so we had the 3D era, and it wasn't the.
And you switch styles halfway through the game as well. Like, you could have weapons and stuff, and it just was like, I can see what they're doing, but it's like,
it never
not
really
the same.
found its footing.
No.
I really like Create a Combatant on Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Every warrior has been summoned for one final battle. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, rated M for mature.
Armageddon's probably the best one on the PlayStation 2.
And I will say this, as a Christian, I created Jesus and the devil, and I've had a while of a time.
Armageddon also had a ridiculous roster as well, if I can remember. It just had everybody from, like, every era on there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was so good.
That was the point of Armageddon. Up until
Yeah.
that point, because obviously I can't count future games, but up until that point, every single character available was on there.
It was insane.
But the way that they did it, and I don't mind the fact that they did it like this, but when you had characters such as Katana and Melina, that was similar.
Yeah.
They had a basic moveset and then a few special moves thrown in to distinguish them. And it worked.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And that's how the character worked. You went, I want this basic moveset, I want this special
Yep.
move, and this special move, and this special move, and
Keep it simple.
keep it simple. So, disappeared for a long time,
It
because
did.
as we say, it didn't really find its footing. Came back with Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, 9's...
Fight! Mortal Kombat, rated M for mature.
I remember seeing 9 and going like, holy Mortal Kombat's back. Because it was just so good.
Now, Ben, he can't be here with us tonight. He had played Mortal Kombat in the past.
Uh-huh.
And I remember getting 9. I was excited for 9. I'd played every Mortal Kombat release so far.
Yeah.
I didn't care if it was going to be another flop. I was going to play it.
Yeah.
As I say, fine, okay.
Was 9 out before DC?
Yes.
Okay, so 9 was...
DC's chronological. No, DC. No, sorry, no. DC came out after Armageddon.
This fall, two worlds collide, and combat begins again. Fight! Come here! Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Which side will you choose?
Right, and then it was 9,
Then
wasn't
it
it?
was 9.
Right.
Forgot about DC Universe.
Yeah, not the best, but 9 just punted it into the ground.
Should we pause on 9? And
Go on, let's go back.
to DC
Let's go back to
Universe?
DC then, because I know we're both DC fans here. What were your thoughts on
What's
it?
a bizarre game?
It is bizarre.
Because it was oddly okay, but also terrible at the same
Oh,
time.
it was bloody awful in points. Like it was
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense.
It made little to no sense. But as far as a fighting game goes,
Mechanics were sick, and stuff in there as
and
well transitioned to other
balanced,
ones as well.
and
Yeah.
There was a lot of good.
Yeah, even though it's not the most, should we say, perfect game, there's mechanics in that led to NetherRealm using it in other games as well as not just Mortal Kombat. And they just progressed it
And there's
better.
lots of occasions I can mention where Mortal Kombat have really dropped the ball on a boss.
Yeah.
But I like to imagine the conversation that happened at the end of DC Universe when how are they going to end this?
Yeah.
And like, well, their bad guy's Darkseid and our bad guy's Shao Kahn. What if?
What
and
if?
Hear me out. What if somehow let us merge together?
Liu Kang, what's wrong?
I can sense something. Something big. It's here!
Dark Khan.
You seek to destroy me. Good. Give in to your rage.
It's just the laziest.
It is.
Shit. Like, it really is.
It is bad. It is, yeah. It's an abomination is the best way of describing it. But,
Give us a tag match.
yeah.
No, 1 versus 2.
Yeah, because it was like that on towers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
100%. That would have been sick.
Yeah. Give us anything other than just,
Other than that,
other than that.
it's bloody awful. But 9. What a game. And you were saying Ben, though.
When we've done all the games, let's go through the bosses, because
Okay.
I think there's some things to say about all the bosses.
Oh, no.
But 9. So yeah, so
9.
Ben had played Mortal Kombat in the past.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the biggest of fans.
Okay.
I was, and I was saying to him before it came out, you need to get this game, mate. Look at the graphics. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
He weren't having any of it.
Okay.
I had it for a month or so, maybe a bit longer, and he still weren't having any of it. I was on the phone to him saying, you don't know what you're missing out. I'm not having any of it. He came around one night for a few beers. I thought, look, let me chuck it on and just play it for a bit. And he picked up Sindal. I can remember Sindal and Molino really, really quick.
Really quick.
And he went home the next day and bought himself a copy of Mortal Kombat 9.
Love that.
And he's been a
fan ever since.
Yeah, he's bought 10, 11, and 1
Yep.
each day, same as me.
Mm-hmm.
9 changed what Mortal Kombat was.
100%.
So we went back to 2D.
Yes.
And I think saying going back to 2D, don't do it justice.
No, I wouldn't say. I'd say it's like the 2D star, but with 3D models and 3D backgrounds and stuff.
If you want to talk about mechanics, it's 2D.
Yeah, 100% it
But
is.
if you want to talk about how it actually looks and presents itself, it's not.
It's like old school MK.
Yeah.
Just on a new reskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's it. It went back old school. It went
So
back
good.
just to what it was. And they brought in some cool features. So,
Okay.
was 9 the first time you saw the Fatal Blow mechanic?
Yeah, the X-ray fatal. No, it wasn't
No,
fatal blow. It was
10 was
X-ray.
the- 10
Oh,
was the
10 was
X-ray.
X-ray. What was 9?
I'm sure it was the Fatal Blow mechanic, but it didn't have an X-ray component of it. And it wasn't a case of Fatal Blow like we know it now.
Now.
You had one, and you can use it any time during the fight.
I bet it
A
was.
bit
Yeah.
like Injustice. Anytime
Yeah,
during the fight.
that
and
sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds
It was
probably right.
It was a super.
Yeah, it was like a super you could use. I'm pretty positive you're right.
Yeah.
Gosh, just like
So
looking
that
back
brought-
and trying to remember it.
So that brought supers to MK9.
Yeah.
At Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
10. Very similar game.
Mhm.
They brought the combat a bit closer. It was a bit faster.
Yep.
I thought the new characters were brilliant.
Yes.
Because 9 followed the original. So 9 was a reboot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And it followed the story of the original first 3 games.
I think it did.
Yeah, and it told it in a different way. So by the time you got to the end of it, even though you saw some of the events from the first 3 games, you'd come to a different
It's true, but it had a
conclusion.
cool story mode though as well.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. It was very cinematic, and you felt like shit. I'm in a tournament because sometimes you just go, I'm playing a fight, I don't get the storyline. So like, I think with the early games, like I didn't realize like in MK2, Kung Lao won the whole thing. Like you wouldn't know.
No.
You wouldn't know because there was no internet, and you had to do all these
You
other things to
either
find it.
Brought the companion.
Yeah.
book,
Or you found out from other people. Like yeah.
and sometimes you didn't even know what you was hearing was true.
Yeah, 100%.
I always remember like Mortal Kombat 2 coming out and someone saying to me, have you seen that they're bringing out a guy with 6 arms? And I was like, 6 arms? 6 arms? That's going to be really cool.
But it never happened, yeah.
No, it did happen eventually.
Eventually.
Which actually happened in 10.
It did happen in 10, I think. No. Wait a minute. 6 arms.
10 or 11. The Collector.
Yeah. 10. Because, or was it 11? It was the last one before the new one. Because Collector
Yeah.
was a new character, which was really cool to see.
Tarkata must pay tribute.
We pay with blood, not gold.
Shao Kahn demands both.
Finish him. Fatality. Collector wins.
Yeah, it was 11.
Yeah. 11.
But 10 also introduced some nice, cool characters because at this point they could introduce people that had never been seen before in the Mortal Kombat universe.
Oh, 100%.
Because 9 had all the characters you loved.
Yeah,
everybody
100%.
you ever wanted, and there was nothing new there.
No,
and there was no need for there to be anything new there. Because Mortal Kombat had such a big gap between its last game and it was retelling the original stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So Ferritor,
yes,
I enjoyed Ferritor. Massive Mad Max rip-off, but I enjoyed it. I thought it worked in the fighting game.
Yeah.
10 also had the Bratz, Cassie Cage.
Oh, it did have Cassie Cage.
Liu Kang's, not Liu Kang, Kung Lao's distant relative who had a bow and arrow for some strange reason.
Yeah.
just had a bow and arrow.
Just had a bow and arrow. Just played it similar to Nightwolf.
Keshta with scorpion-like chains.
I love this because we're just going back. I'm trying to remember characters because the roster is just
Jackie Briggs, Kotal Khan, Devora.
I do like Devora. Devora's character is really cool design. It's a cool character design though. You can't argue.
She's alright to smash up.
Yeah, like you could get away with doing fatalities on YouTube because her blood's different. But no, I like the character design. I thought it was really cool. I really like the bug aspect and shit like that. I thought that was really cool because it was unique. I think that's what Mortal Kombat is when it comes down to it. When you look at the characters, obviously you've got like this guy is a flaming skull and sets you on fire. You've got a guy who like spits out ice. You've got a guy who does the splits and punches you in the balls. Like, there's always, you might not know the characters, but you know the moves.
Yeah.
Or like, what, resembles them. But like, I think, it's not, because we're talking about characters, which was the one when they started bringing in cameos of people who you didn't even think were going to be in a fighting game?
So 9 had Kratos and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Okay.
10 had Alien Predator.
Did it have Jason Voorhees? Yeah.
Don't get any blood on me.
This is a waste of my time.
I just remember it Voorhees because I tried to main Voorhees forever. Yeah.
11 was Rambo, Terminator,
RoboCop.
He was brilliant.
RoboCop was busted. So good.
You're done making trouble.
You'll have to catch me first, officer.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Dead or alive.
Yeah, honestly, just like so good.
Not just in Mortal Kombat. I just love
just RoboCop period, and just having him in a fighting game is unreal. But it's weird because you'd see things where you're just like, I don't see how that can work, and then you see it and you're like, oh my god.
Ben's not a big fan of the cameo characters.
No.
I'll agree that I'm not.
Okay.
Now, I would love to see a cameo fighter game. I'd love to see a game where I can do John Wick versus Rambo and shit like that. Oh, that'd be amazing.
I forget. There was a game I forget ages ago, but there was a fighter which isn't the best, but it's got all the kung fu guys you could think in it from all different movies fighting. So you got like Jean-Claude Van Damme from Kickboxer, but then it's like versus Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan Drunken Master. It was like absolutely mad. I want to say it's like Fists of something. I can't remember. Because when we were looking into research for like this podcast, I was like, is this even a freaking game? And then just people were like, yeah, they've modded it and this and that, and you could have Chuck Norris and all this other stuff. And I was like, that seems fun.
Yeah.
But it looked like it just ran poorly.
Yeah.
Like just bad.
See, I want a A-star game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, and this is where I actually completely agree with Ben. Take the last 3 games, maybe the last 2. Yeah, because Tank didn't try, but I think take the last 3 games, 2 games, I really like Cyrax.
Yeah.
Would I have gave up Terminator to play as Cyrax?
Definitely would.
Definitely would.
Yeah, everyone would kill to have the cyborg ninjas back in.
Yeah. I quite like Frost.
Rarity.
Yeah. but there are these like odd characters that I quite like.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Bo Ray Cho over Omni-Man every day of the week.
Bo Ray Cho.
Like, I'd rather have a fat guy that farts and be sick on people.
Yep.
Your technique is lacking. Boraicho wins.
Because I don't give a shit about Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Not when I'm playing Mortal Kombat.
Invincible's
anyway.
cool, but why are you in a fighting game? Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
I was never playing Mortal Kombat 9 going, do you know what we need in this? Leave it for Injustice.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
Best characters in Injustice.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Right? Hellboy. Turtles.
Turtles was sick.
Turtles was amazing.
Turtles was sick.
But leave it to that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the best characters. So that brings us 11.
What would you fight for? Justice? Power? Glory? Vengeance? No matter the reason, the time to fight will come. And when it does, you'll be ready. Ready to stand and fight.
Yeah.
Which, again, didn't really change from the 9-10 formula.
No.
Added the 10 added the X-ray stuff. 11 added the crucial blows.
Yeah.
And actually put the X-rays into the crucial blows as opposed to
having a separate
X-ray move.
100%.
And that was fantastic.
Yeah,
They
it
brought
was.
back brutalities. Brutalities brought back in 10 because I remember
Yeah.
doing Chinook's brutality.
Yeah, brutalities were a certain combo you had to get and a certain reaction, which is cool.
Which is so much better than the old brutalities. People forget that the old brutalities were just a variation of the fatality.
Yeah, 100%.
Once you said finish him, you put a different code and then you beat the person to death.
100%.
Instead of doing your fatality. And everyone's brutality was the same. It was just them swinging their arms around wildly.
Literally like hitting them like 20 times and then finishing with an uppercut and they explode and then it's like brutality. You're like, okay.
Jade wins. Flawless victory. Brutality.
And it was exactly that.
So now, as you say, you have to meet certain conditions and land a certain move at the end, and it changed what brutalities are. Brutalities are now
middle finger.
Yeah, display.
It's kind of cool.
Display a skill.
Yeah, it's a display a skill. Like, yeah, there's some way you're just kind of like, oh yeah, if I finish on this move, it will be a brutality.
Especially if you can do like a 25% plus combo and end on a brutality, and you just leave people kind of like sat there. Because you know people are sat there just staring at the screen because when it happens to you, you just sat there staring at the screen going,
that's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, that is.
So I thought Mortal Kombat 11 kind of had a decent end to the trilogy.
Okay.
I think they dropped the ball on explaining who Chronicle was and making her a threat.
Okay.
She never felt like a threat.
No.
That doesn't mean that she wasn't a good boss. Because the concept behind it was good.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Actually, her taking you through time and then using like Tyrannosaurus Rexes in her combat and stuff actually in the boss levels.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And she was actually a really difficult boss to actually learn because you couldn't even cheese her. You could cheese her for a bit and then she'd learn how you cheese her, and then she'd block that, and you had to go, right, now how am I going to cheese you?
Exactly.
And cheesing bosses is what Mortal Kombat's always been.
Yeah, you find the pattern and go, right, this person's going to do this, I can punish it. Do this, I can punish it.
You fight like a pro all the way up to the boss, and then you just like, right,
100%.
Now it's cheese mode.
Yep, 100%.
If you don't win.
No, not at all.
You try and land like 13-hit combos against
Try and remember.
Shao Kahn. Like,
Yeah, it was either Shao or it was Mataro. The first time you ever fought those guys, I want to say it's either 3. I think it was either 3 or 2, and it was just like, I think it was 3. It was just the biggest like fuck you ever, because it was just 3 moves by Mataro, you're pretty much dead, and it's just kind of like, okay, that's shit. Like that's really annoying. You could imagine that in the arcades where you're putting your 20 or 50p's in and just going. So this is where the difficulty goes up, and you have to learn the pattern. So it's like, okay, if he does that fireball, he's got this amount of frames to pause, so I can do a punch, or I could do an uppercut, do that, and do damage. It's just funny. It's just like literally looking back on it, you just like when you're a kid, why is it so hard? But now when you're an adult, you just laugh. It's so funny.
So I had a decent ending.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
It ended with Liu Kang winning.
Of course.
And resetting the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And he could create a timeline in his image.
Yes.
Which meant that, without even being told what was going to happen next, which meant that he could keep certain individuals away from power.
Yeah, basically making sure that certain people would never really cross paths.
Yeah.
So you would never have those issues.
Yeah. And you can mod.
Yeah.
And I ended quite well. There was a DLC.
Yes.
That showed Shao Kahn, because that's in my head now.
Shang Tsung. Oh yeah.
Do a sneaky maneuver and try and fight Liu Kang. And the good thing about the DLC is you had a choice of whether you was going to finish the game as Liu Kang or you was going to finish it as Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
And what happens is, so you've not played Mortal Kombat 1.
I've not played MK1. I know exactly what happens in it
because it's about to get spoiled.
Yeah, it's spoiled. So yeah, because I know MK1 and how it finishes. Because I was like, I'm not gonna get a PS5 forever. I'm better off watching this, because as soon as I get it, I will just play the shit out of like arcade mode.
Yeah. So MK1 has a golden opportunity to reset, and not just reboot, reset.
Yep.
So not all characters are who they were and who
previously.
You know them previously, which is great.
And it's really cool. Some of the designs for the characters are sick.
Really cool, really great idea.
Yeah.
And it was marketed as you didn't need to have played a Mortal Kombat game before.
Yeah.
It would be beneficial if you had, because you'd understand how it got to this point.
Yeah.
But you didn't need to, because everything was going to be brand new.
Yeah.
Until you got halfway through the story, then they went, not really.
Not really.
If you haven't played the last 3 games, you were about to get really fucking confused.
Love it.
It didn't really explain itself very well. Characters get popping up out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
In general. I want to talk about the positives.
Okay.
Because I do want to run through the bosses of the Mortal Kombat series.
Okay.
And one of my biggest negatives is
of the new one.
Of the new one is in that area.
Okay.
Positives.
Yeah.
It plays so well.
Yeah.
So smooth. It is so reactive. No input lag whatsoever.
That's cool.
Every character I played at, I want to main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a rarity for games.
Yeah. I mean, Reiko I'm not over keen on, but Ben's main Reiko, so it's not like people don't main him, and you know, he's a bit grabby.
Yeah.
A bit more grabby than I tend to like to play fighting games. I like push down.
Fair.
Fantastic, graphically superb.
I think the one thing I like about it is how they disguise the loading screen. When they clash and they say a cool witty one-liners, and then it goes straight into it, and then there's a bit more of a cinematic. That's super cool.
Straight into your fight.
I am the Lin Kuei's Grandmaster, and in desperate need of a breath mint.
Ready to face Outworld's finest soldier?
I will be, if he ever gets here.
The Queen of Outworld faces the King of Smoke.
King of Smoke.
Super cool. Like.
Yeah, there's no messing around.
Yeah. Guaranteed you're going to see that in other fighting games now. They're going to copy it a little bit. Guaranteed. They have to.
Yeah.
A little.
It's almost perfect.
Yeah. 100%.
I liked Invasion mode.
Okay.
It needs some work.
Okay.
I'm hoping that season 2 comes with some tweaks.
Cool.
I was very quickly overpowered because they've tried to work it like an RPG.
Right. Okay.
You can. I just had mine on auto set, but you win points. You can build up your health or your strength.
Okay.
Something like that. So very, very quickly, I was a few levels ahead of my opponents, and I wasn't trying to do anything special.
No.
You know, especially if you're given a new concept, a new game. Of course, you're going to go off the side path that you've just found, find out what's down there.
What's down there? Yeah.
You know, very, very quickly, I was so overpowered that the bosses weren't really giving me trouble. The game itself, it was a very, very cool idea.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a bit like the Towers of Time.
Yep.
Fights with added little bits like the floor's on fire or some smoke in the air.
Cool.
Or some shit like that. Which, in Invasions,
yeah,
they do it really, really well.
Okay, cool.
Really, really well. It's not over the top.
Right.
There's effects that affect both you and your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not all as one way. You've got your cameos. You've also got an amulet that can like give projectiles and stuff. You can go and upgrade your amulet. This is pretty cool. So if you wanted to make your schools a bit bigger and a bit slower from your amulet, you can go and mess about and do that kind of stuff. You have to get forge points and go to the forge and do all that stuff.
Jeez Louise.
To be honest with you, I didn't really mess about with the amulets too much. I found one that was giving me some additional armour.
And then you're like, I'm fine with this.
I'm fine with this.
Extra hit points, always good.
Yeah, I think it gave me armour to fire. So anytime like the screen sat on fire, I was like, there we go.
I don't care.
Just click this and I'll be alright for a bit. But yeah, Invasion's good. Needs some tweaks.
Okay.
It needs to be a bit more difficult
right.
in season 2.
Okay.
Towers are still there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a huge issue. So Invasions has its own towers, little island.
Right. Okay.
And you can go and fight towers, and they've got all these extra bits on as well, the same as Invasions. That's like the floors on fire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Difference is in an Invasions battle. Let's just say you're fighting Katana, and they've called her Fire Princess.
Right.
What they'll do is they'll set the floor on fire, and she can throw fireballs.
Okay.
And they might not even do that. You might have the first round against Katana standard, and then when you win that round, she stands up, twirls around like there's like a pose, and she sets herself on fire, which sets the ground on fire.
Okay.
And it actually works well as like, what if Katana was a boss level character?
Okay.
And it works really, really well.
Sweet.
You get to the Invasion Towers bit, and they're like, how would you like to fight with smoke, razor blades, a fire demon, some spiders, and some guardians falling out of the sky? And you're like, well, that's not really Mortal Kombat, is it? Because all I'm doing is dodging other shit. I can't land any combos because anytime I'm halfway through.
Oh, are these the things with like the smoke and the wind's coming to the side? You got to duck and jump over them and stuff like that.
No, that's survival mode.
Okay.
This is not just join a fight.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
If I go to standard towers,
okay,
and I put it on the hardest difficulty, and I fight my way up an arcade tower,
okay,
I will get half the XP per fight than I would if I went into Invasions, went to the easiest opponent at the highest level, winning 3 moves. And I don't just mean like 3 combos, I mean a combo with 3 moves and get double the XP.
That's weird. Okay, that's pretty bizarre. That doesn't make any sense.
So, literally, I wanted to see what Kenshi's first brutality was, and I just sat there talking to Galatian, just spamming the first one until I got to enough XP to get to the first
I need
brutality.
this.
I just thought, I was tired, I didn't really want to do it. I was like, I'm really curious what this brutality is going to be. So I spammed the first, and you shouldn't be able to ever do that in a fighting game.
No.
Which kind of links into the next game I wanted to talk about, but I really want to talk about bosses.
Yeah, bosses.
This is where I get annoyed.
Okay.
So Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes.
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. Well, Goro before Shang Tsung, wasn't
so
it?
Goro was a sub-boss.
He was harder than Shang Tsung sometimes.
Yeah. But Shang Tsung had this unique ability, and we're talking way before anybody else had done this in a fighting game. He could turn into any character he wanted.
Yes, he could, on that roster, annoyingly.
Yeah, and that was really, really cool.
It was. It was really smart.
Not necessarily useful, because you'd already learned how to beat all them characters.
But
really cool. We hadn't seen that before.
No.
Mortal Kombat 2, 3, Ultimate, Trilogy.
Yep.
Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn, brutal.
The ultimate
badass. Hits you with 3 moves, you're dead.
Big muscular dude with a giant fucking hammer that would just shoulder bars you to death.
Power uppercut. Swing that axe that stuns you for then him to shoulder. Oh my god, it was brutal.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Dickhead.
Yeah. But what a boss should be. A boss should be the kind
hard
of
as
thing that will
nails.
Smash your controller against the floor.
100%.
4. And was it Chinook Denanaga? Yeah, Chinook.
It was Chinook, I think. Yeah. I can't remember 4 that well because I never really played it. Because it came out on the N64 and I never really played it because...
Yeah, and Naga went to Deception.
Yeah. I just never... I fell off...
Chinook.
I fell off it because there's another game we're going to talk about later that I played more than Mortal Kombat 4.
So...
And there's reasons why, guys.
Chinook has a special place in my heart.
Okay.
I love Chinook.
Okay.
He was never a boss level character.
No.
He's a core jester. No, he's not. He's really cool. I like his necromancy stuff. And I like him as a character.
Okay.
I just never felt he was boss level.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he didn't bring the same kind of badassness as Shao Kahn did.
No, he didn't. No, I would say definitely not. Definitely not. No.
Deadly Alliance.
Quan, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Quan Chi and Shang Tsung.
Because that was a tag team.
The beautiful dynamic duo. Because who needs another like Shang Tsung? Oh, we'll make Quan Chi. Okay, this guy's even more annoying than Shang Tsung. Let's let them be friends. I do love Quan Chi.
I do love both characters. It was a good choice.
It was.
We mentioned earlier that they could have done that with DC Universe. Have that long.
But having them both work as a tag team to, spoilers kids, kill Liu Kang was fucking... First cutscene, you see it where he's like, they killed Luke. And you're like, what?
And most disturbing of all, formed an alliance with one of our deadliest enemies, Shang Tsung. With their combined strength, they plotted to overpower the only 2 beings who could prevent their total domination of the 2 realms. The first was the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn. In a false show of allegiance, they sprung their attack. There, they confronted Earth's mightiest warrior and champion of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. It has been Shang Tsung's desire to consume the soul of Earthrealm's greatest warrior. With Quan Chi's assistance, he achieved this goal. Liu Kang is dead.
The balls of doing that.
What we were saying about Kronika earlier, that's all that she needed. The very first cutscene that they had, you're like, well, who's this white chap? And he's like, oh no, he's just killed the main dude.
Yeah. If you had Kronika kill, I don't know, Sonya or Raiden, like a staple character, you're like, okay, I'm invested in this villain, like 100%. Because I vividly remember when I was like, we rented it from Blockbuster, and then I was like, okay, let's power it up, and you see it, and you see him fighting in the blooming giant arena with the MK logo, and then you see Luke just get absolutely blitzed from behind, because that's how you kill main characters, just from behind as always, mate. Mad.
I literally, if he was looking, he would have took them both.
He would have. Fucking Luke.
Then a Naga. Now,
yes.
A lot of people love a Naga.
Okay.
I don't think he was a particularly good boss. I think he's got potential. I'd love to fight a giant dragon.
Yeah.
It'd be cool boss. But I should go back and look at footage of a Naga.
Hasn't aged well.
No, he's just a big dude. I mean, he's got a big boot.
Yep.
He blows on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a tail whip of some sort?
Most probably.
Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Onaga, my comrades. We are all treacherous by nature, and betrayal is to be expected. But if we do not stand together, at least initially, it could mean the end of darkness.
I stand with no one. I will claim the prize and with it destroy you all. Onaga. Emperor Onaga.
Not anymore.
You haven't been listening to what Quan Chi has told us. The forces of light also seek to acquire this power. You cannot defeat them alone. Only if we join forces does one of us have a chance of winning the prize.
But which one of us? If Onaga is the victor, he could use that power to overthrow you.
I'll take that chance.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think they could do a really good job of Onaga now.
Okay.
Back then, he's not this shit off boss that everybody wants him to be.
Fair.
Blaze from Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
There you go. That's a boss.
People shit on Blaze.
Oh, Blaze was annoying. That's what Blaze was.
Blaze was annoying.
Yeah, 100%.
He had a decent moveset.
Yep.
He could have been done better.
Yeah.
Were graphics at the point when you should have made a full-on fire character? Probably not.
Probably not.
Having been enslaved through sorcery to guard the molten incubation chamber, Blaze was finally freed once the dragon egg had hatched. He then resumed the quest he had undertaken before being subdued by his captors.
But use your imagination and he's pretty fucking cool.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Fire was... Yeah, it was PS2, so Fire was hit and miss. Yeah.
It was, yeah.
So it was hit or miss with Fire graphics, because you could look at Fire and be like, oh, it doesn't look great, but then you look at some of the other games that did Fire well, like, you know, Metal Gear Solid 3,
yeah,
and a few other games were like...
Doing patches of fire and lines of fire are different to creating a full humanoid made
100%.
of fire.
100%, mate.
But I like Blaze.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just start... So he's not actually Blaze, is he? He's actually Armageddon.
Yeah.
That's what we see him in the
Yeah.
form. But we all know in fighting games that they have an original form and then a boss form. That's how fighting game villains work.
Always. They always come back and show their true form, you know. Always is.
Yeah, well, Mortal Kombat hadn't never done that.
No, it hadn't. That's a good point. It hadn't done something like that.
But Blaze, you never actually got to fight Blaze in his first form. Blaze's first form, I believe it's in Mortal Kombat 1 House 2, on the bridge level. He's fighting some random ninja in the background.
Oh shit! On the bridge level in 2. Oh shit!
He's just in the background fighting some random ninja. Actually, this isn't just like fans that are going, oh, have you noticed this guy? Mortal Kombat actually linked
That's
these
sick.
two characters.
Okay, that's kind of cool now.
So he became Armageddon. Which is a giant fire dude.
Yeah.
Smashing. I actually like his story.
That's cool.
You know, he's been there from the start. It's in the background. He's gaining his power.
100%.
All roads lead to Armageddon. There was like...
The game was great. The game was freaking dope.
He was a good boss.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 9. Back to Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
So
go back to the OG badass.
Yeah.
And he was badass.
Badass boss.
100%.
The brilliant thing about 9 was you had a variety of sub-bosses.
Yes.
Toro, Goro,
Shang Tsung, yeah. Yeah.
And then 10 was Chinook again.
Chinook again, yeah.
He had a second form.
He did.
And this is the first time Mortal Kombat actually did this whole fighting in his first form, fighting in his second form.
Yep.
Neither form was particularly great.
No.
I had nothing to write home about, same as 4.
True.
Chronica was the boss of 11.
Chronica boss was 11. Talked about her a little bit. Yeah, she was alright.
Do you know the bosses in Mortal Kombat 1?
So,
no one is the boss in Mortal Kombat 1. You get to the end of the game, you're like, here we go, here's the
you're
boss.
You're fighting so many different multiverse mashups.
Yeah, love that.
But it was sick. But there was no real, like, big bad. it was cool seeing like cameos pop up. Like it was fun seeing like Deadly Alliance Cage with like Cassie was sick. Like those kind of like cameos were sick.
Yeah, so when you had the comeback cameos, like Ninja Mime and all that kind of stuff, love that.
Yeah.
And I love the crossover characters that they did on the way up to the tower. So
100%.
As you run the pyramid, you get like Johnny Cage cross with Baraka.
Yeah.
And it's great. Well, and actually, there's loads of them, and every time you play it, you will come across
different people. Yeah.
Great. Why not put the cameos in?
Okay.
In that bit where you're running up, so you can see all these different people that you recognise from different timelines and stuff. Like Ninja Mime and just different cameos of the characters that you've already been fighting.
Yep.
They're gonna put the skins in anyway, so why not?
Why not?
You get to the top of the pyramid, you fight your fucking Shang Tsung and Quan Chi for the 100th time.
100th time, yeah.
And then when the floor goes green, you wait for your boss to pop out. You could have had any of these crossover characters juiced up to the max to make sure that they're like on full hard difficulty.
100%.
And you're like, what do you mean it's Scorpion cross with Sub-Zero? And then the next time you play it, you go, what do you mean it's Johnny Cage cross with Kenshi?
Yeah.
And you
it's
know,
like a missed opportunity almost.
It's a massively missed opportunity because they even open up the idea that there's these other titans like Johnny Cage winning one reality.
Yeah, and it's kind of so cool to think of that.
And you're like, why instead did you just go? You know these two guys that we've already made you either pre-order or pay extra for. You're gonna fight them 4 or 5 times throughout the story.
100%.
And they're your boss.
Yeah.
What a load of wank.
What a load of wank.
Never been more disappointed.
That's kind of sad.
My son played it as well, and when he got to the end, he was like, you can see he was on the edge of his seat, like getting to, he beat the final boss, not knowing.
Yep.
And then the ending happened. He just looked at me and went, "Oh, that was a bit anticlimactic."
Yeah, it's like a sudden. That's it, and then it's cut up in a cutscene of who the next big bad is.
Then Raiden goes for a fucking cup of tea and a nice dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to chill with Madam Chow. You're like, I don't give a shit about that, mate.
And the worst part is, I'm not even joking. That is genuinely how the game ends.
Yep.
They saved the multiverse.
And he goes for a cup of tea.
He goes for a cup of tea and a dinner.
I'm telling you, the locations we found here are money. Well, I know better than to ask you. Your plate is always full.
Indeed, Johnny Cage. Which is why I must now depart.
Is there anything we can do?
Not yet, but I will call upon all of you when the time comes. Madame Beau, once again you have served an excellent meal.
That's kind of you to say.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you, all of you. You have served well as Earthrealm's champions.
No, Liu Kang. Thank you. Joining up with you really has changed the arcs of our lives.
I am glad.
You know what? It's kind of like hilariously anticlimactic, like Lord of the Rings. Like they just saved the whole of Middle Earth. Yeah, we're just gonna go back and get married now for a bit. Like that's honestly what happens. They just go back to the Shire.
I am well aware of what happens. I went to the cinema.
And back to basically, I think it was a pumpkin festival, and they're all like, "We've just saved the thing," and these guys haven't got the foggiest because we're not gonna do the books.
Love Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Love it. But the end of 3 is just a piss take. Right? Some of them scenes have been done a lot quicker than they were. They're like
extended version's better though.
The end. No, it's not. Samwise is gonna get married.
Yeah. Like my thing.
No, it's not. Frodo needs to go on a boat.
My thing, which I was looking forward to, was just kind of the fact, like, okay, cool, they've saved Middle Earth. Right. Now they're gonna go out to the Shire, and there's gonna be the whole kickoff with hobbits versus orcs versus Grimtongue. No, we're just gonna have a pumpkin festival, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck? What is this? And it's just like they're all sitting around a table drinking. I'm just like, they should be fighting orcs right now and like basically saving the Shire. But hey, that's the books, and that's another debate for another day, I guess.
It is a debate for the other day, but we'll touch on this because I found it absolutely hilarious. Because only the other day I was watching something about, somebody was talking about the movie, and they mentioned that Gandalf was smoking weed. And
so did Merry and Pippin. They're big potheads.
Yeah, but then Peter Jackson's been caught in an interview saying, no, I'm not smoking weed. And he's like, why is it crack with that?
Well, they call it pipe weed. That's what it is. They call it pipe weed. It is definitely weed, and they're eating a shit ton of food at the same time. It's weed. Just get over it, guys. Yeah. It's legal in California. Come on, it's everywhere else as well. So come on, let the hobbitses have a bit of fun, okay? Merry and Pippin. That's why they're all so idiots, because they're just big ass stoners. That's pretty much why.
Smoke weed every day.
We are sitting on a field of victory, enjoying a few well-earned comforts.
Hobbits.
Mortal Kombat amazing. Favorite? Okay, before we move off, one of your favorite fatalities, because there's so many. There's so many good ones.
We didn't really talk about fatalities.
There's so many good ones though. There is literally so many good ones.
So, not one of my favourite fatalities, but I do want to mention this. Before we started talking about Mortal Kombat, before we started the podcast, you said to me something about some of the fatalities just go a bit too far.
They do. Some of them go a little bit extreme, like, okay, he's dead. Okay, he's dead. Yeah, okay. Sure. Like, that's insane.
I felt like that a couple of times, but it's not something that I really ever like.
But it's what it's worth, ain't it? You can push the boundaries now. You can just do whatever, because it's so realistic. You're just like, I know those sound effects are just like vegetables being squashed and whatever. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's like when it goes to another level of like, I'm chopping him in two. Then I'm going to kick him. And then I'm going to like do something else to him while he's in half. Then I'm going to set him on fire. And then I'm going to just like destroy him and do this. And then that's it. So why go bum, 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 bum all the time? Because like, I just like the simple ones. Like, I don't know.
You say that, but... And that's what Mortal Kombat 1 is. Right? Most of them are over the top and a bit like silly. Like, I can handle that. Smoke's brutality, and Smoke's my main.
Yeah, okay. From the new one, from NK1, yeah? Okay.
And he has a brutality in which he grabs you, slices your throat, pulls your head backwards.
Okay.
You're dead at this point.
You are already dead, yes.
Takes his little knife.
Okay.
And... Not slowly, but slowly for however your fatality works. He extracts your eyes individually.
Oh, wow.
And...
This is a brutality, though.
It's a brutality.
Jeez.
He lets go of your head, and then... So he can do his pose. He just puts his knife in your shoulder, because, you know, you now does a knife block.
That's cool.
But it's just the way
he does it.
Pokes your eyes out with a knife that you're like... That's not cool.
That's pretty brutal.
This hunt is over.
Brutality. Smoke wins.
Hence brutality.
His other brutality, he lands on your face with his knife out on the bridge of your nose between your eyes, and then just scrapes backwards and forwards until you've got no eye area left.
Oh, wow. Okay.
His other brutality, he disappears behind you and slices your head in half right at the eye line.
Sure.
And you start to think to yourself, Smoker's got a real problem with people seeing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want you to see me, even though I made a smoke. Interesting.
And even though you're dead.
Even though you're dead already. I don't know. I feel like
you can't get to heaven with your eyes.
You can't see the staircase.
The windows to the soul, you prick.
You can't see the staircase to walk up it. You're just like, where is it? There's no elevator.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like he knows something. Like, who takes someone's eyes out after they die?
You've got to be a pretty messed up person to take someone's eyes. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. No, there's loads of fun ones. Like the stupid ones, like Jax turning giant and stomping is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, because that makes no sense.
Finish him. Jax wins. Fatality.
Yeah, it's great. Liu Kang turning into an arcade machine and then landing on you. Like, that's... Sure, why not?
Finish him. Liu Kang wins. Fatality.
My favourite fatality though is, I think it was in 11.
Okay.
Kung Lao. He throws his hat down like a table saw.
Yeah, that's a freaking good one. That's a really
drags them through it.
That's a really good one. Like a bloody lumberjacker cutting a log in half. That's pretty freaking dope. That's a good one.
Kung Lao wins.
Shit, that is a really good fatality. Oh no, I also like Cyrax blowing up the world. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
Cyrax wins. Fatality.
Like, it's just there's loads of good ones. Like, I think one of my faves is from the new one as well. Would be Johnny's one where he just smashes the person on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, because that's just Johnny down to a T.
I like Johnny's second one as well.
Yeah, it's just so, I love Johnny Cage. He's just such a dickhead. I love him.
Talk about talent. Meet Hollywood's newest star.
Fatality. Johnny Cage wins.
He's literally, and in MK1 they've got him back, which is great because he went off for a while because they killed him off, and we were like, where the hell's Johnny? And you're like, yeah, he died in this tournament. You wouldn't know if you read a magazine or something. You wouldn't have a clue. You're just like, I guess no one likes him anymore. But yeah, MK1 and then Mortal Kombat in period is just good fun. I love how we've almost spent literally almost an hour talking about Mortal Kombat. I fucking love that.
Yeah, well, I was
It's
just
so
thinking,
good.
I was just thinking, do we even bother getting onto another fighting game?
I think we've got to talk about Elite because we said it was Volume 1. So
Yeah.
what other big boys should we talk about? Or do we speak about random ones?
I was going to say, why don't we speak about some random ones?
Okay.
Because the next big boy I wanted to speak about was Tekken. And
Yeah.
just speaking about Tekken 1 and how that changed.
That was my first ever arcade experience at Tekken 1. Nuki.
And
big
how
sit
it
down.
changed how I saw fighting games.
So good.
Yeah.
Tekken's a beast within itself.
I think we could spend another hour talking about Tekken 1.
Yeah. And just the whole thing. I love it.
And then having a little cry when we remember how good Tekken 3 was.
Tekken 3 is probably almost the perfect fighting game.
You left it on again, didn't you?
There are games, and then there's Tekken 3.
PlayStation.
Yeah, Tag's pretty good. But it's just 3. I think that's why I can't remember 4 that well. Because for like MK4...
4 kind of sucks.
MK4 came out the same time as Tekken 3. There was only one fighter you were playing, and that was Tekken fucking 3. Guaranteed. That soundtrack, probably one of the best soundtracks ever for a video game. Like, it's just... It's god tier, that game. It's hard to dismantle it. There's a few if you're like big fighting fans, but Tekken 3 is
so episode 2
up there.
Tekken.
Just do a whole Tekken one. So let's talk about then some smaller games.
So when we said we were going to do this podcast, I thought to myself, what's the most random fighting game I've ever played? And
okay,
my brain went to Rise of the Robots and to Primal Rage.
Primal Rage, love that. Love both those. Rise of the Robots is trash, but I remember it for being trash.
The most random fighting game I ever played.
Okay, here we go.
Was Star Wars.
Oh,
of
yeah,
some shit.
Yeah, that is a god awful fighter.
Oh, but how much fun did I have with that?
No, you just win with Boba Fett every single day. How on earth can Boba Fett beat Luke Skywalker and all these other Jedis?
I was the guy that I don't even remember. Even to this day, I don't think I've ever seen him in Star Wars. A little green dude with a big axe called Fuck.
Oh, he was the not Tusken Raider. He was the one of the Jabba's Palace Guard guys, the pig guy. Yeah. Oh shit! I'm like the one thing I need to remember the fucking names of. I'm like blanking right now.
I was mainly playing as him so I could shout, "Come the fuck on!" And my mum was like, "Language." I was like, "It's the name of the character."
It's the name of the character, Mum. Calm down. Yeah. Oh my god, that game was bloody awful. Yeah, that was awful.
Is it Masters of the Terra Cassie or
something like that?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, it's awful.
If you want to see Luke Skywalker fight Han Solo, Luke Skywalker's weapon of choice, lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Han Solo, little gun.
Little gun. There's only one winner there. Funny enough, Han Solo most of the times because you just shoot from far and run away. It was so bad. It was like the best way of describing it was a shitty version of Virtua Fighter. It was literally the worst version of...
I wouldn't even go that far.
Well, no, because Virtua Fighter 2 is phenomenal. That game's so much fun. And then like I played that Star Wars and immediately went like, yeah, this is just a shit Virtua Fighter 2 clone.
Yeah,
like, it's just bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's just god-awful.
But fun.
But fun. I don't know. I wanted to bring up, which we hilariously bring out at, like... I think it's one of my favourite PlayStation 2 games of all time. Because I think the PlayStation 2 is like the best console ever made.
Says the man who don't own a 5.
Yeah, I don't own a 5 yet. Okay, come on. I'm not made of money. Def Jam 5 for New York.
Money, power, respect. That's what our code is all about.
Forget the code.
Love Def Jam 5 for New York. The ability of killing
New
your...
York, the second one.
Yeah, the first one wasn't that great.
The first one was Vendetta.
Yes.
I enjoyed the first one, but mainly because I was a big rap fan.
Yeah.
You cross.
It was cool.
Games and rap music.
Don't get me wrong, it was cool to fight, but it was missing that something.
And that something came into a bit of a storyline.
Hells yeah. And also...
kicking Snoop Dogg out of a window.
Yeah, and fatalities of, like, pushing, Sean Paul in front of a moving train and stuff like that where you're just like, I really hate, like, Ludacris. How can I kill him? Oh, I know. Let's throw him in front of, like, this car or this.
Let's kick his head through a jukebox.
Yeah! And you could interact with the crowd where the crowd would hold him and then you could just basically just, like, DDT them with the person in the crowd. It was so good. It was just... I think my favourite ever line, I still, to this day, is Ice-T was my main, just because when he beat you up, he said,
"You're nothing but a punk, your daddy's a punk, and your mama's a bitch."
And it was so funny because, like, you had these really cocky intros, and then, literally, if you knew what you were doing, the fights would last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. That game was so stupid and fun.
The third one?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as 2.
So I always remember reading that they're taking out the special moves.
Yep.
Instead, you could jump in the air and play some decks. And I was like, well, I'm not buying that then.
No. It just took away... It was, I think, the funniest thing I vividly remember, it was NBA Street Volume 2 and Fight for New York 2, Def Jam 5 for New York were incredible. Vendetta 3 and NBA Street Volume 3 were just shit. I immediately went like, you had a great formula with the sequels. Why change it? And change it just to ruin it. Like, it's such a bad...
Def Jam had a simple formula. Keep the same game.
Yeah.
Add more rappers.
Just add rappers to beat the crap out of. Like, honestly.
There's a new rapper cropping up every month.
Mate,
right?
imagine if you could have been Eminem in one of those games.
Imagine if you was playing Def Jam 5 now, right? The amount of rappers. You'd literally have more people than you would your average wrestling game.
Oh, 100%. Oh, imagine that roster. Just basically, you kick the shit out of any... That would be amazing.
Cardi B versus Jay-Z.
Yeah, just like, oh my God. Like, lit... Yeah.
Which just made me think of another great little PlayStation game.
Go on.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Okay.
Welcome, fight fans. I'm Johnny Gomez.
And I'm Nick Diamond.
And we've got two groups of overpaid pretty boys with a beef that's been festering for months.
Let me warm up on your sorry ass.
Get ready to die.
Bad girls rule.
As usual, the crowd is wired for excitement.
Let me put my insanity to work.
Smell something? I do.
Cool! This would have made a great video!
Think this is unprecedented. The moment you've been waiting for.
So Celebrity Deathmatch was one of the worst fighters I've ever played, but I loved that series.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. And oh my God, I still vividly remember the Beastie Boys. Like, what was it? There was Vince McMahon, Stone Cold, that one where it goes like, if you want me to like do this and do this, give me a Howie. It basically was a wrestling match, but more, because it was stop motion, wasn't it? It was all clay. Like the TV show. It was sick. It was so good. I think I've still got the VHSs somewhere. Like,
yeah, the
I
TV show
love
was
it.
brilliant. It was really funny.
The video game,
which should have been simple to make,
100%,
was just a mess.
It was a hot mess. It was kind of reminding me of Simpsons wrestling.
I can't even remember any of the characters that were on there.
No, I remember there was a Ron Jeremy, because I remember one of the secret moves. It did just unzipped, and then it would cut to the commentators, and they would just be shocked and goes like, "We can't even show that." And I was like, "Okay," because I know I think there was Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman was definitely on
yeah,
it.
Dennis Rodman was on it. It was just really weird. It was like a cast of just absolute randoms, and you were just like, you just took like the best ones. And they just weren't that great. You're just like, ugh. Yeah, that was disappointing. Although, if we're going back to Hippity Hop, Wu-Tang, Taste the Pain.
Oh, you know I love this game.
I love this game as well.
The time has come to claim our rightful position as lords over this weak and pathetic world. You have become powerful warriors, but not yet strong enough to vanquish our enemies. That will be rectified shortly. There is another powerful discipline, that of Wu-Tang. The sole master of this ancient art is Xin. But now I have found my old friend once again, hiding like a scared rabbit in America. I will force him to reveal the ways of Wu-Tang to me and merge our two disciplines into one, making us invincible. The world that has rejected the old ways will soon tremble at the feet of the man they once mocked.
Not just the fact that you could get a Wu-Tang Clan controller, which came with the game if you wanted to, which is a well sought after like piece of like memorabilia now. So if you've got one, if you think about reselling it now, because it's worth quite a bit of dough. That game, what was it, like an arena?
You said that wrong. What you should have said is, if you've got one and you're thinking about selling it now, get in touch.
Yeah,
I have got anywhere near the amount of money that you should value this controller.
I think they were saying it was like almost like £100 for just a controller. Like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, I'd spend that for a Wu-Tang controller.
I wouldn't. But then I would want to frame it and put it like...
Yeah, 100%. You have a little glass box on my front room.
Yeah, I think the only thing I have that is like merch available for video games that I have is like the NFL Street American football I have in my living room. Because I remember I went to Chicago and I loved NFL Street, and the first sports store we went in, I saw it and immediately went, I'm buying that. I don't care. And I was like, it was like $30, and I was like, awesome. And everyone's like, why the hell did you buy this? And I'm just like, you don't understand. Like, volume. I don't know. EA big sports games were like my jam, like SSX. All those games are great. But no, Wu-Tang Taste of Pain.
Yeah.
Arena Fighter, where you didn't have a selector. You just had to, if you were close to someone, it will auto lock onto them. But it was cool.
It was cool. And what I especially loved about it is when they went, do you know that rap group you really like?
Yep.
They're going to be in a fighting game. And who have you got the bad guys? You know that film you really like? Big Trouble in
Little China.
Them guys.
Those guys, and then other guys that look like villains from other kung fu movies. Yeah, they're also going to be in this.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
And it's so, like, I was watching all the fatalities and completely forgot about this game and how you had to put a parental lock when you first... For blood. I completely forgot about that, because if you don't put that in, the fight would be exactly like MK1. Like, you'd be over the fight, and then all of a sudden you're back to the select arena screen or whatever. You didn't have the cool fatality or whatever.
No, I didn't have
but I did love how stupid some of them were. I always remember, like, Razor's one where he just threw he basically threw a sword into the person and then threw the other one up exactly like Blade in Blade 1.
Yeah.
And just did the triple spin kick.
Always trying to
Yeah.
cascade uphill.
Punches that gets it in the head and they just impale on the floor and he's like, stay connected or like, protect your head, son, or whatever he would say.
Check this out. Plug in, son. Get connected.
But there some of them were stupid. Like, why on earth was Method Man walking around with a giant hammer at one point? But then he would literally get on the floor and then he would just like punt your head off, like a golf shot. And I was like, that's amazing. Like,
I mean, I've never seen no old dirty bastard breakdance in my life, but apparently he breakdance fight.
Oh, there we go. Because he was like the drunken martial artist, I think, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what his fatality was. I know Raekwon the chef, he put him in a cauldron at one point. That was pretty cool. Master Killer had like some cool like ninja things.
I was mainly Ghostface.
Yeah, big. Oh, Ghostface grappler. Yeah. Oh, Ghostface 1. It's pretty dope. Yeah, when he turned giant, like a giant. I remember now. Giant Silver, and the person punched him and he hurt his end, and he just like just run straight through them like Shao Kahn would in real life.
I'm the ghost.
Mate, there's so many great games. Like, we're not giving too much justice because I feel like Mortal Kombat like overtook it, but like, there's so many good ones we could mention. Like, I have a list here where I'm just like, there's so many here.
What was the robots? I got mentioned, so let's
just go with. I think we've started with a really good fighter, and now we've just gone down like a rabbit hole of either good or shit.
Get Rise of the Robots out of the way. We are talking about the worst fighting game in the history of fighting.
It's up there with Eternal Champions.
Eternal Champions.
Cool fatalities because they try to rip off Mortal Kombat. Don't get me wrong. There's some really cool fatalities in it if you look it up on YouTube, but not a great fighter. Just not great. Rise of the Robots.
So you could only be one character.
Yeah.
Unless you was playing 2-player.
Yep.
And in that mode, player 1 could only be the blue robot.
Yep.
And player 2 could choose any of the other robots.
Yeah. The ones that look way cooler and more powerful, you know. So bad.
And you had to slowly fight your way through a tower that was... I think I got about 3-4 fights in, and then one of the robots just consistently beat me.
It was god awful, mate.
It was terrible.
I remember I rented it for the Mega Drive back in Blockbuster, and I was like, I've heard good things about this, because you can always remember the cover because it had this really cool looking robot, and you're like, soundtrack, okay, the soundtrack's pretty cool, and then you play it and you go like, this is just awful. This is really bad. Oh, so much missed potential.
One of my favourite fighting games.
Oh, here we go. Is this like favourite of all time? Because I feel like we could finish with that.
I couldn't, because Mortal
Kombat probably your favourite.
Even though the story has really, really pissed me off with this one. And we didn't even get into the controversy of the DLC. Have you heard that it's $12 for a fatality? One fatality.
Really?
$12. I've paid less than that for full DLC.
$12 just for who's the fatality for?
Oh, anybody. It's a Halloween special fatality.
Oh, screw that then. You'll just watch it on YouTube and see if it's worth it. Because someone will upload it, guaranteed.
It was been uploaded weeks ago.
There we go, sorted.
It was
done.
leaked.
Yeah.
Who's paying $12 for that?
No one. Unless you're made of money.
But you have to pre-order to get Shang Tsung. You have to buy the DLC to get Quan Chi. And the DLC's not even got a price on it yet. It's just fucking stupid. But anyway, Mortal Kombat 1, despite all of that and the story, and it's my favourite fighting game.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Wow.
It is the mechanics and everything are so spot on, in my opinion.
Right.
You're not going to beat it.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever they do next will be, hopefully, something incredible. But this comes close to as my favourite fighting game of all time, because I have kept my PS3 for this game alone.
Okay. There's the PS3 had a lot of good fighters on it. A lot of good fighters.
If I gave you the rest of the evening, you would never guess this fighter.
Okay, what's the company?
No idea.
King of Fighters.
No.
I'm just gonna go through it. Like, I'm trying to think of King of Fighters. There was a Gundam one which was pretty sick.
You'd never get there.
Seriously.
Seriously.
What does it begin with? What's the starting letter?
R.
R. Yeah. Not a clue.
Real Steel.
Steel.
You ever seen the Hugh Jackman movie?
Shut up. It's that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, it's essentially Fight Night 2. I would not say it's Fight
Really?
Night 2. So, you haven't got the analog sticks.
Fight Night 2, what a game.
You have got the analog sticks, but you're not throwing punches with the analog sticks.
Okay.
That's where 3 changed it.
Yeah.
Squares a jab.
Okay.
So squares left jab, triangles right jab, X's jab to the body, circles jab to the... You hold L1 or whatever it is, and it changes all them buttons into your hooks.
Right.
You hold L2 and it changes them all into your uppercuts.
Okay.
Basic boxing.
Basic boxing. Yeah, we even forgot about Fight Night 2. That's a great
You could
game.
block, you could dodge and weave
Yeah.
by holding the other 2 shoulder pads and your 2 analog sticks, moves your camera and your person and everything you need to. Very basic boxing game.
Mm-hmm.
You also had special moves, which puts X and square together or triangle and circle together. If I remember right, you could program 3 special moves into your robot, and this is where we get a bit more fun because some special moves were a big weave and a big uppercut. Some special moves were like spinning your body around like a tornado, like only a robot could.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Or like the big robot special move where he would hold your head down and like, then use his other hammer hand to like just keep smashing into the back of your head, which was taken straight from the movie.
Yeah.
What made this game fantastic, and to this day still makes it fantastic, is that when you've done a fight, you get given scrap points, which is essentially your credits.
Okay.
And you need to keep your robot maintained.
Right. Oh, okay.
Make sure
okay.
that, you take damage in a fight. So you go and win a fight without taking any punches. Don't take any damage.
That's fine.
You go and get a shoe in, and you might not have enough money to repair your robot for your next fight.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds pretty sweet. That's
you can
cool.
pick and choose your fights. You can get put in a league with 5 robots. You can fight number 1 straight off the bat. Get your ass
I need
kicked.
to play this now. Then. This sounds amazing.
You take your credits and go buy different robot components. So different fists, different arms, different legs. You could be as silly.
Okay.
But if you wanted to put heavy duty, so you always have to be. You can never go any more than a weight class higher, and it makes more sense when I finish. But so you couldn't put the heaviest upper body onto the smallest lower body.
Okay.
Because it just wouldn't physically work. And so the game just wouldn't let you do it.
It just wouldn't let you do it. Yeah. Okay.
But you could go like top medium to your first heavy.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So you could have disproportionate robots.
That's cool.
Like work things out. But the larger your robot, the faster your robot. The heavier your robot. Didn't necessarily mean more power, but you was either putting power or shield defense in place. And I had robots of all sorts of weight categories. I used up every free memory slot that the game gave you.
Amazing.
I still, as I say, I still have a PS3 in my man cave. Every now and then I'll bash on just to play Real Steel.
Oh, we might have to have a Real Steel thing then. That'd be hilarious.
I don't think you can get it anymore.
Serious?
Yeah, I think I've got a feeling because obviously PlayStation do this thing where if games come off the store,
was there physical copies or not?
I think there was physical copies.
Shit.
I own it. I've not looked for one for a long time.
Fair.
If my PS3 ever broke, I'd have a little cry.
Yeah, 100. Oh, 100%. 100%.
I'd have a cry over the PS3 breaking, but I think I'd have a special little cry over the fact that I
could never play Real Steel anymore. Yeah, that's true. Oh.
It's the one game I wish they'd just chuck onto the store now, but I think the company that made it went bust. I think.
Okay. Yeah, because it's interesting because it's like, yeah, I've got so many favorite fighters, but I definitely know one that just sticks out for me is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PS2.
Capcom presents.
Ready?
Marvel vs. Capcom 2. New Age of Heroes.
I would definitely say now it is probably the best game for a roster, and that's harsh to say because we were just bumming the amount of Mortal Kombat, because I wouldn't say more. There was certain Mortal Kombats where the rosters were god tier. Like I would definitely say Ultimate MK3, that roster's insane. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, that roster's insane. But the fact that Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I think I wrote down 56 characters.
Wow.
And it was also Marvel, Capcom, because they had games before this where they had fighters which were good, and they just took everything that was good about them and made it better. So you had like your Marvel superheroes, you had your X-Men versus Street Fighter, all these really good.
And no one was repeat characters either.
No, and literally you had 56 characters, and you would basically take these characters, earn points, and then you would spend those points to unlock other characters. So you would have like, I don't know, your lineup could be, I don't know, Jill Valentine with Incredible Hulk and Thanos, for example, and it was just absolutely insane. And the game is probably, I've sunk God knows how many hours into that, and probably my brother as well, and we still don't own all the characters because it's such a fucking huge roster.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous, and I love that game because it's just so. All the specials are simple to do. The inputs are easy to do. And it's just the fact that you've got your favorite like fighting Marvel guys, like your favorite comic book characters fighting probably your favorite Capcom things. And Sam and me, I can definitely say is Capcom's probably one of our favorite like companies because we love Resident Evil, we love Street Fighter, we love all this. And having them in a fighting game is like a no fucking brainer.
I wonder how they dropped the ball so bad on Infinite.
Yeah, that's true. Although to be honest, MK3 is not MK3. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Infinite is it's up there, but the problem is if you learn combos, if you get hit once, you can die. Like it's insane.
Even the kids were pulling off big ass combos.
Yeah.
Without any effort, and it wasn't a fighting game anymore.
It wasn't. It was just basically technical.
Who could bash the buttons the fastest.
But then also I appreciate that because then obviously you've got all these guys just learning how to do combos, and then they immediately would pick up another game and learn that and then try it again. Because then I would say like the competitive scene for it, when you'd like watch like Evo and whatever, like some of them like you don't know what the fuck is going on sometimes because you're just like he's dropped the combo, you're like, I'm having a seizure right now. I don't know who's there's like 17 characters on the screen fighting at once. But like you see it in like Mortal Kombat, especially the new one, how you can do certain combos, keep it going, then you bring on the assists and keep it going, and that's exactly like that with MK, with Marvel vs. Capcom. And just that.
Yeah,
two's ridiculous.
Two made you learn the combos,
you
learn the characters, because there was no way you could just bash your way through it.
100%.
You bash your way through early stages, but you fight against somebody else or one of the high stages.
100%.
Infinite, you could just literally bash your way through it.
You could.
I can almost guarantee if you went and put it on now, I could shut my eyes and just bash the buttons.
And bash buttons to do,
eventually I'd win.
100%. Yeah, it was just, especially if you, who was the guy from Devil May Cry? Not Dante, the other guy. Virgil. Yeah, if you were Virgil, you would auto win. Because it's so bad. Like, recently the Russian Badger did a hilarious like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament, and one guy did Virgil, and all the guys are laughing because they're just like, he's worth 17 characters on his own and he's like killing everyone. You're just like, bloody hell. But it's like that when you learn a character that's really good or really powerful, you are going to get good.
Yeah. And speaking about being blindfolded, off that point that you've just made,
yeah,
I can't believe I didn't mention this when playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 9.
Yes.
I was at uni.
Okay.
So I went to uni late.
Okay.
So
all right.
I was so good with Scorpion that I could beat people
blindfolded. That's fair.
Because you just did a get over here move.
Yep.
He would only say get over here if you executed the move.
Okay.
If you missed the move, he wouldn't shout it. So you
Okay.
knew when you'd hit it.
Right.
Drags your opponent right in front of you and leaves you stunned. I could then hit a combo that was half a life bar by memory.
Love
and
that.
Didn't need to see the screen to do it.
I love that.
Used to piss people off. I used to walk in, pissed up, and my mates would be all around the PlayStation playing it, and I'd be like, I've got next. And then they'd look at me, and I'd be like, yeah, put the blindfold on somebody, like I'm drunk, and I'd still beat them.
I love that. Because honestly, I feel like with any fighting game, because we'll probably do multiple volumes of this, because we always say we will with all these casts, like
I think we got it because
we've got to. There's
something else you
so
mentioned
many
earlier about unlocking characters through Marvel vs.
which I miss that.
One of the things that I would have planned to speak about tonight was when we got into Tekken was how much I loved the fact that each character had his own unlockable and just how unlocking worked back then.
Yeah.
And now you unlock fuck and all character-wise.
You have to pay for them.
Yeah, pay for them.
But then I guess that's how you can keep the servers running for certain games. Fair play. But at the same time, it's kind of like I miss the days where it's like I've spent 3 hours and I've unlocked all the characters, but I know I'm only going to be good with 2 of these characters.
I kind of get fed up with that excuse as well because because a lot of companies now like DLC and loot boxes and stuff are here to stay.
They are, yeah.
And a lot of companies that's their model. But then you do get some other companies. A game that we love, for example, Space Dwarfs and No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking me for any more money.
No.
They're still giving me free shit.
It's true.
Their servers are still open.
Yeah. It is true, if you think about
Grand
that.
Theft Auto. As much as Grand Theft Auto, the moment you turn it on, Bruce comes on and goes, spend some money in the store. If you ignore all that shit, you'd have to spend a penny.
Yeah, I don't know.
And all the DLC, 5 years worth of consistent, 5 years, 10 years worth of consistent DLC. Never asked me for a penny to keep.
It's mad. If you think about it as well, like when they first came out with battle passes, everyone's like, oh, they're paying for all this other stuff. But like, I can always say Fortnite were the first ones to do it. But like with Fortnite, is if you don't spend a penny of any of it, you can afford the battle pass for the next one. And that's such a smart business motto, because you can either go, I'm going to get X amount of coins where I can spend it on a character or something, or I can save all these up and I don't have to spend like a tenner on the next battle pass, and I can keep playing it, and I can keep playing it, and I can keep playing it. And I think that's the smart logic of it. But then how they get you is how they got me, was like, yeah, I'll be Ripley from Aliens running around. Sure, yeah, there's RoboCop in there. That's cool. Like, yeah, there's this. I've recently missed out on Michael Myers. I was furious when someone told me, it was like, Lee, you just need to jump on and buy Michael Myers. I was like, he's not in the game. Looked at a trailer, immediately downloaded it and went like, I need to go get it. And he was like, yeah, he's no longer in the store. You're like, gosh, damn it. But no, it's stuff like that. It's just...
But sometimes stuff like that I would pay for.
Yeah.
And Fortnite's a free-to-play game.
It is.
You haven't paid £70 for Fortnite before they go, what, you want to play as the boss?
Yeah.
Let me do a £20, please.
Yeah. It's like, you just got to grind a little bit to earn this,
and
if you want.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Tekken 1, 2, 3, you ended up with over double the original roster by the time it was finished.
3 was so good because you would unlock stuff on the stupid stuff like
the volleyball,
bowling, and then the other weird running, like you became.
I
forget what it was. Was it Tekken Force? Yeah, Tekken Force. Tekken. Yeah. Run around just being one guy learning
Even
one
to
move.
this
Oh,
day,
so good.
If I walk in the kitchen and there's like having chicken for dinner, I just look and go,
chicken. Love it.
chicken.
Jeez, oh, back in the day. But that's what I think you'll always remember with fighting games, or any video game in general. You'll always have memories, and there's certain games that I will always look back on and be like, yeah, I remember sinking God knows how many hours in this, how many hours in that, and just, so much fun. And fighters are just really interesting, because it's like, not everyone's cup of tea, and we haven't even scratched the surface on ones that I didn't even know existed. Like, obviously, we had, growing up, certain consoles, but we didn't have, like, Neo Geo as a big thing, and that was like the whole SNK, King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, all those games, and I'm like looking back at them and I'm like, what the hell's that? Like Guilty Gear, all these games are like, I ain't got a fucking clue.
Marvel vs. Capcom vs. SNK.
Yes.
So good. I had no idea who half the people were, but there was one kid who played football.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Loved it.
It was sick. Like literally, some of the SNK characters, like I basically say that King of Fighters is like Street Fighter on crack, because Street Fighter, you're like, okay, I've got this guy, I've got a guy who electrocutes people, I've got this. King of Fighters, okay, I've got a guy who's really 8 foot tall, but he fights like E Honda, but he's not a sumo. I've got a guy who's a midget that runs around and he's like Freddy Krueger. I've got a guy who's like Ryu, but not Ryu from Street Fighter, but blatantly is Ryu. It's just, and like, you see loads of other random stuff. It's like, I've got a guy who's like a military guy, and he does this, this, and this. And then you're like, okay, I've got this guy who's just skateboarding, and you're like, these are all really cool character designs. Sick. And then you try it, and you go like, oh, I can see why people like these now. Because it's very technical as much as... You know, it's so technical. I love it.
You ever play Schoolgirls?
Yes, or rival schools as well. That's a...
Here we come. High flying, death defiant. Time and
Schoolgirls is unreal.
Yeah.
Schoolgirls, the animation style on that, I think, is what sold that game for a lot of people, because it's just unique. Yeah. It's so cool. You're never going to see a fighter that cool. It's kind of like Cuphead. It has that unique, like...
When I first heard about it, I was like, oh, cool, the fighting game is just women fighters, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I first saw it, I thought, is that really going to work? And then I played it, and I was like...
holy shit, it works.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I suppose, like, Cuphead's a great example. I'm not the biggest fan of Cuphead. It's not my style of game.
No.
My son loves it.
But it's so pretty.
One of the few games I like to sit and
It's so pretty. It's unreal. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Guilty Gear X or whatever it is, but by God, I've watched like God knows how many tournaments of Evo and stuff, because the game is just so pretty. Like, the newer versions of them are just, it's art. Like, I don't care what anyone says when people can say video game is an art. I'm like, look at Guilty Gear and how they can transition into specials, exactly like how Street Fighter does it and others do it now, where it's like simultaneously, but it's like the art style is just so pretty. I was like, I don't know, I don't care, but that's sick. I don't understand how, like, you can have a guy who's a rock star and hits you with a guitar and kills you with, like, you know, music and stuff like that and whatever, but it's cool. Like, it's just like, that's amazing. But like, yeah, there's just so many fighters we haven't even talked about. We haven't even really like touched Street Fighter. Not even Tekken.
Not even scratched the surface. Not touched Street Fighter, Tekken, Bloody Raw.
Oh, I love Bloody Raw. Bloody Raw 2 was banger. Absolute banger of a game. The PlayStation has probably got some of the best fighters on it.
Bloody Roar 2, the new breed.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
Killer Instinct.
Yes. Interesting. Killer Instinct, definitely Killer Instinct Gold, or Killer Instinct 2 as it was in America for the N64. Sunk a lot of time into that with my brother. That soundtrack's insane.
Holy! Same graphics, same moves. It looks like the arcade, man.
Arcade, man.
16 bits.
16 bits.
All I can say is Killer Instinct only on Super NES. It's totally uncensored.
So who needs a new system?
I love the first one.
Yeah, for the SNES.
The SNES.
Yeah, fair. And then we touched about other ones like Primal Fury, where you're basically a giant apes like farting and like it was poo, weren't it? It was farting and burping. No, farting and burping on you. And then you were raptors and there's so many. But obviously that's multiple volumes. This is only volume 1, and we pretty much spent most of the cast talking about Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
It took forever for us to finally like mention that, and then we haven't even really spoke about the film. Zzz.
Yeah.
So the first film.
What, the original?
Let's go original 90s movie. Fun film. I enjoy it. It's pretty. It's pretty stupid, but I love it.
Film 2, bag of wank.
Bag of shit.
New film, bag of wank.
New film has moments, not that great. Kano is the best part of that movie.
Top knot. The end. What's his name? Kung Pao. Pass us a fucking egg roll, would you? Your ears painted on, mate. Egg roll. There you go. Good boy.
Maybe you should lay off the egg rolls.
Kano, I like the... Do you know when it starts?
Yeah.
The Sub-Zero Scorpion fight back in Japan, and you're like, this is going to be fan-fucking-tastic. They get to the modern era, and Sub-Zero's running amok and freezing
shit, and it's super cool because how he is portrayed when he's like in the street, ice everywhere and shit. I was like, this is fucking cool. More of this, please.
And then I'm like, oh, there's this new guy that's not been in any of the games or is going to be in any of the games.
But
he's going to punch Goro in the face and kill him.
Yeah. Leave it at that, guys.
If you need to know more than that, go waste an hour and a half of your life.
It's true. But the animation movies,
not seen them.
So good. You would love.
Heard they're really,
you
really
would
good.
love them, mate.
I quite like the YouTube series as well.
Yes. Yeah. The realistic kind of like series of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, because it was pretty cool. Yeah, because it was shorted. It was on.
Street Fighter one's better, but
yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely is. But no, yeah, I would recommend. Yeah, the animation MK ones are fun films. But yeah, so that was Volume 1, fighting games. I feel like it was mainly Mortal Kombat, but hey, go play Mortal Kombat, guys. It's super sick. One of the amazing OG fighting games of all time. And that was another episode of Digression Session. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please leave a like. A like is much appreciated. Thanks for the download if you're listening to it on Podbean. If you've liked all like the clips and stuff we've put in while watching this on YouTube, much appreciated. Leave a like. Comment below. Tell us your thoughts on your favourite fighters, because we'll probably end up covering them at some point. Because, yeah, the list is long and just ridiculous. So, with that in mind, take care, have a good one, and we'll see you in the not too distant future for more Digression Session, because we're going to keep talking about random cool stuff we like and love.
I haven't even thought about what next episode's going to be.
No, me neither. I'm just going to fade us out now, listen to Mortal Kombat music, just living the dream.